Good morning. My name is Jim McGravy, and I'd like to thank you all for attending this press conference. In a particular way, I want to say thank you to 1Huddle, to Sam, and to Brian, to the entire team. 1Huddle sets the benchmark for excellence in terms of training, and we are very grateful for being able to partner with 1Huddle. And you're going to see the demonstration of the app, which I believe is among the first of its kind in the country. And again, I can't thank Sam enough and the entirety of the 1Huddle team for their technical proficiency, for their ability to work with New Jersey Reentry, and their willingness to understand the challenges of those coming home from prison. And with that, as is our way, I'd like to call upon our dear friend, somebody who walks the walk and during the height of the COVID pandemic in New Jersey, served 5,000 meals every single day throughout the state of New Jersey. He walks the walk. He is our leader in the state of New Jersey, our strategic partner with the National Action Network and the Reverend Al Sharpton. It's my great honor to introduce somebody who's always dressed better than me, my brother, Reverend Steffi Bartley. Rev.
Thank you, Governor. Shall we pray? Gracious Father, today is the day that you've made, and we're rejoicing and we're glad. We're so happy that you have placed in 1Huddle the ability to reach those that others have forgotten about. I pray now for more wisdom. I pray for more insight. I pray that you would continue to give our former Governor, Jim McGravy, the leadership skills so that we too can huddle with 1Huddle, so that those that are coming out who have dirty hands but clean hearts. And so, God, we thank you now in your Son's name, amen.
Thank you, Rev. And as many of us know, on Monday, the governor will be signing legislation that provides for pandemic credit, which will result in upwards of 3,000 individuals being released from state prisons all across New Jersey. Approximately 2,000 of those persons will be individuals who will be supervised by parole. Approximately 1,000 will be max outs who will literally enter society with little to no support. For us at New Jersey Reentry Corporation, the National Action Network, we are deeply committed to the importance of second chances. And that is why today is so important. And with that, I'd like to call upon a gentleman, Jesse, who served over 35 years in the New Jersey prison system. I'd like to call upon Jesse Sharp to talk about, thanks Jess, to talk a little bit about how he came out, the lack of resources that were available to Jesse, and what reentry means to him. And so with that, I'd like Jess just to speak from the heart and to share. And Jesse and I actually know each other from a few years ago. You can tell that story. Ladies and gentlemen, Jesse Sharp.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jesse Sharp. I did 35 years in the New Jersey State Prison System.
Speak up, Jesse.
I did my first 17 years in Trenton State Prison, and between there and East Jersey State Prison and Northern State. But I just got out of New Jersey State Prison September the 17th. When I came home, I went to the halfway back program. I didn't have no ID, still don't have an ID. No birth certificate, no nothing. Every time I talk to the social service department about it, they tell me, oh, well, it's in your package. I get to the package, there's nothing there. I just had a heart attack in March 20th, 24th of this year. I just had a mild heart attack on the 30th of last month. I spent time in the hospital. They kicked me out of the halfway back program at Kentucky 3 because of the heart attack. They're not equipped to take care of me. Now, they sent me out, like I said, with nothing. If my brother wasn't there, I'd probably be homeless because they're not equipped to take care of you. When they tell you, oh, well, Kentar is working, you can get whatever you want. When you get there, Kentar's looking at you and told me, this is supposed to happen inside the prison system. The New Jersey State Parole Board knew that I was being paroled. Social service had all my paperwork. In January, they knew that I was being paroled, but they never filed for the paperwork to get the IDs or nothing. Because New Jersey State Prison, people don't just walk out of New Jersey State Prison unless they're dying. They get the courts overturn their cases, or they're in ASEG, or they're in the psychiatric hospital there. They're not equipped to handle guys like me that's walking out of the prison after doing 30-some years in there. They come out, they stuck me on an ankle bracelet because when I got from the halfway house, they said, well, we got to monitor you. Monitor me for what? I got 3 months before I max out. Why did you monitor me? It costs more to monitor me, to have a parole officer to check on me with an ankle bracelet, and it is to give me my IDs.
But you talk about how you had no benefits when you
I
walked
still
out.
have no benefits.
Food stamps,
I have nothing.
general assistance,
Yeah.
Medicaid,
Don't have none of that.
and ID.
Don't have none of that. All I have is a prison ID that they gave me when I left, and it's expired tomorrow. If the newer cops pull me over right now, you know what I mean? I have no ID to show who I am, where I'm coming from. If it wasn't for Mr. Crawford and Ms. Bennett trying to assist me in the one step, I've been done. The New Jersey Reentry, I've been done. They're trying their best to help me as much as they possibly can. I was there for 2 days trying to do paperwork. Ms. Bennett went out her way yesterday to help me get a Newark ID. This morning they tell me it's closed. So, as far as food stamps, Social Security, all that, I don't have none of that. They never put the paperwork in. They put the paperwork in Trenton State Prison for it. And that's as far as they went. And Ms. Bennett and them, they've been trying their best to do what they can, you know what I mean, as limited as they can to help. It's hard. Because when they let you go inside the prison system, they're not equipped. They talk about, well, you come out, you can do this here, you can do this here. Okay, but when you get here, it's a whole totally different story. Everybody got their excuse. Everybody point the finger at the next person. And that's the downside to it. Right? Ms. Bennett is trying to offer me a job. I can't do it. I can't go to work because I have no ID. I can't even go register to vote because I have no ID.
It depends how you're going to vote. No.
Well, but you know what I mean? It's bad. And they spend all this money in the DOC for correction. The correction department have the largest department of budget in the New Jersey State Prison System, and they have all this money coming in here. But when the guys get ready to leave out of here, they won't help them. So, you know what I mean? That's how bad it is. And everybody said, well, you could go get an ID, but you need an ID to get an ID.
Amen.
So, you know what I mean? I know who I am, but they don't know who I am. So, you know what I mean? That's how bad it is now. So, but thanks to former Governor McGreevy and no more surprise Christmas party at East Jersey State Prison with me. We go back when he was the governor of New Jersey State Prison. So I've been doing it for a while. But it's good to see you. Thank y'all for coming in and thank y'all for having me. All right,
Thank you, Jesse. And I want to thank Jesse, and I want to thank David Wolfsgruber, our partners in parole, working so hard to provide services. And now we have a very special guest, someone who represents, for me, the best aspirations of this nation, of a compassionate sense of service, of a standard bearer whose name is enframed in this foundation. A man who believed in America's better angels, who would see America as she could be. And Kerry Kennedy has carried that banner, the spirit of Robert Francis Kennedy, not only in this country, but throughout the world. And we are indeed today blessed to have his spirit and Kerry's leadership with us as we launch this app in the service of those, such as my dear friend, who are coming back home from prison. I would just like to introduce us all to Kerry Kennedy. Kerry?
Thank you, Governor McGreevy, and thank you, Reverend, and thank you, everybody, for being here today. I mean, the story that we just heard, the frustration of coming out of prison and having none of the resources available is so moving, and it's on us. It's on us as citizens to assure that people are given a chance. And that's really what today's press conference is all about. I'm Kerry Kennedy. I'm president of Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights, and it's really a deep honor to be with all of you today, albeit by Zoom. For more than 50 years, our organization has worked to address structures of injustice like our country's racist criminal legal system, freeing people caged on unaffordable money bail, and partnering with frontline activists and community organizations to eliminate unnecessary pretrial imprisonment as a whole. Decarceration is, of course, a necessary and crucial step toward fixing our justice system, and we applaud the work of local advocates in getting this bill passed, and the legislature and Governor Murphy for responding to their calls of action. Once signed into law, this effort will free roughly 3,000 people still incarcerated during a dangerous pandemic. It will no doubt save lives. But our efforts cannot stop there. Providing support for returning citizens by giving them access to the tools and resources to thrive is crucial if we're ever to dismantle the scale, scope, and power of our so-called justice system. Practical innovations like the New Jersey Reentry app that provides easy access to basic support and opportunity demonstrate how meaningful investments into the community can yield incredible results. Research has shown how investments in services like healthcare, housing, education, and jobs can provide the stability needed to disrupt the cycle of incarceration that the system too often perpetuates. These investments reduce the likelihood that returning citizens will face unemployment and homelessness, while also significantly lowering taxpayer costs associated with rearrest and reincarceration. Importantly, these are precisely the types of evidence-based strategies and investments that, when scaled and expanded, can also prevent incarceration in the first place. Thank you to all the communities who have been pushing and pushing for change. Thank you for Governor Jim McGreevy for all of your efforts on behalf of people who need your type of leadership and voice. All of you, especially those who are closest to the problem, we know you are closest to the solution. You are the frontline heroes, speaking your truth to power, prodding our conscience, and making our country more just. Thank you to the legislature and Governor Murphy for heeding their call. And a very special thank you again, in closing, to Governor McGreevy and the team at 1Huddle for investing in the future of our returning citizens. We look forward at Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights to continuing to work together to disrupt the mass criminalization pipeline, a dragnet that has swept up generations of Black, brown, and poor individuals with irreparable consequences. Today marks an important step forward to a new tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kerry. Thank you for your commitment and your advocacy and being with us. And it's a great privilege. Thank you and Godspeed. And thank you for all that the foundation does. Can we have another round of applause? Thank you. And I'd also like to recognize our dear friend, and I'll call him up in a few moments, the commissioner, the great commissioner of the Department of Labor, Robert Acero Angelo. Robert, thank you. Sheriff Anthony Curtin of the great county of Bergen. Thanks, Sheriff. And David Wolfskuber from Parole, thank you all for being here. And now at this time, we're going to introduce the working of the app. And Sam, I'd also, just in the interest of marital bliss, think it would be a good idea if you brought up your wife just to introduce her. You know, Sam is a workaholic. He's a great partner. I just want to assure everyone that he's been working on this as hard as Brian and I think he has. And on behalf of the entire New Jersey Reentry team, many of whom that are here, this is the man whose brilliance, whose vision, and technological wizardry has brought us to this point. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam. Sam Kauke. Thank you.
Where's the boss? The boss is here. It's my beautiful wife, Jamila Williams. And I think that one of the things that I've learned since moving to Newark and being a part of the community is that, you know, so much about what we do and the responsibility we have as a technology company requires you to bring your whole family into the business. And I think as a startup, you know, every day we wake up, and one day we were only 2 employees down the street, and now we're 41. And, you know, I couldn't do it without you, and I couldn't do it without the family we've had here at 1Huddle. So thank you.
Congratulations.
Zoom's holding up so far, which is good. That's a good sign, right? Okay, very good. So thanks, everybody. Welcome to 1Huddle. This is our first live event. What do you do in a global pandemic other than sign a new office lease? So that's what we have done. I'm proud to say 1Huddle, we are a Newark-based technology company. We started with the idea to build a technology that could onboard and upskill employees quickly, and we thought it'd be interesting to do that using gamification and games. Really, the idea was rooted in the fact that employees at all corners of the workforce, from frontline to full-time, deserve equal access in a moment when technology allows us to do that. But we know that there are certain inequalities today in society, especially at work, that stop it. So, you know, I want to say thank you to the governor and commissioner and other folks here. I'm proud to be working alongside you and the efforts here in the community. So with that, I'm gonna show everybody what the game is and what the training platform does more specifically, because this is a tool that's going to be used to make sure that all returning citizens here in New Jersey are going to get as quickly as possible connected to benefits that they're entitled to. And that's at the core of what we tried to do and focus on in customizing our application a little bit more versus what it normally does for private sector companies. So with that, so the way that the training app experience is going to work is, as individuals get onto the app, we've made this multi-platform, which means that as long as you have access to a browser, a desktop, a phone, a tablet, any technology with web access, you'll be able to get onto the New Jersey Reentry 1Huddle platform. Upon login, users are going to be directed to get immediately connected. Priority number 1 is to get folks connected to a New Jersey Reentry site so that we can get help to the folks that need it right away. So upon login, I'll jump into one of our training modules. And step 1 of the New Jersey Reentry app is to make sure folks know who to call and who to connect with. So there's a short video from the governor that could be watched. There's the phone numbers that are one-click dials. Again, this is on desktop and on mobile. So whatever platform you have or you're going to be on, have access to, you'll be able to one-click to connect with a New Jersey Reentry site. And at the end of that segment, there'll be a quick review. So users can then get a recap of what their next action step is. And after I've done that, I checked the box on the first step, unlocked a few trophies along the way, and I've moved on to the next step in the process. So we're using gamification, which, just so everybody knows, at the end of the day, games have been around as long as human civilization, and we feel like using game elements throughout the platform encourages and motivates folks to get through much needed steps. The other thing that the app is going to do, other than just make sure folks get connected to a New Jersey reentry site, is make sure they get access to specific services. So all of the live in-person mentorship, consulting, and training services have also been equally made virtual in the app. So addiction treatment, wellness, mental health, we have modules in the app that can support any of the live in-person services that are being delivered at a New Jersey reentry site. The final step in the process, as you can see here, we have over 250 employers on the app with a quick burst game to prepare individuals for interviews. So at some point in the process, interview prep will become important, as well as making sure that we're properly prepared, not just for an interview, but to continue to skill up after we're hired. At 1Huddle, we work with hundreds of companies, that are across about a dozen verticals. And today, due to the pandemic, human resource teams have been largely directly impacted by furloughs and layoffs, which means that we can't always trust that companies are always going to do everything they can to onboard and upskill a new hire effectively. So this app is also going to act as a support mechanism to make sure that even after being hired, you'll be able to access dozens of quick burst training modules that will support your efficacy in a job, whether it's digital skills, soft skills, hard skills, and so on. So if I was preparing for an interview, let's say at, let's pick a brand here. Let's say I was going to be going on an interview at CVS. I can access a quick burst training to prepare me for the interview. Arm me with a few talking points. Make sure that I'm as confident as possible going into that discussion with a hiring manager. And at the end of the day, like I said, the app is meant to be a support tool to make sure that once you've gotten access to benefits, once you've gotten access to services that NJ Reentry offers, we can then make sure that you have the best opportunity to win a job and succeed at that job. So that's just some of the core of what the 1Huddle application does. All throughout the way, every data point is recorded so that the individual can use the app as a point of confidence, so that they know what they have accomplished, what they have completed, and can even be rolled into resumes in the future. So that is the 1Huddle mobile app. In just a quick closing. When I first got connected to Governor McGreevey, I think one of the things that really struck a note for me was the way that technology can be supportive to help people through something as tough as a global pandemic. And with folks returning, technology can help and support us. I think my vision is when someone asks me, what can we do at 1Huddle to help the community? My answer, I want it to be everything we can. And I'm proud to be a partner with our community, with the governor, with the city, with the state. Thank you and welcome to 1Huddle.
Thank you, Sam. And again, what's so special about this app is that we're going to be able to coordinate with our case managers, with our employment specialists and all those. And again, to echo what Sam said, we are asking every prospective client, all 3,000 persons, to register with New Jersey Reentry Corporation so that we can begin the process, as was shared earlier, of providing you with those basic services. So again, I just want to say thank you. If you're mindful of what Jesse said, it's our goal is to provide those services and those benefits as quickly as possible. In addition, in the meantime, thanks to the efforts of our board member, Leslie McRae and Jada Fulmore, we're collecting pandemic survival kits, literally toiletries, undergarments, necessary provisions for individuals when they first come home. So we understand that the app is a technological device that links people to reentry and in turn enables us to better serve our participants through linking them directly to food stamps, SNAP, general assistance, temporary emergency housing, Medicaid, also importantly, medication for those that are suffering from opioid use disorder, whether it's Vivitrol or Suboxone, and an identification. And now, when Governor Murphy and the state legislature. And again, I want to express my gratitude to Governor Murphy, Senate President Stephen Sweeney, and Speaker Craig Coughlin. Part of this leadership team is understanding that there is a moral obligation to assist those coming home. In fact, I had the opportunity to be on an 8 o'clock call with Deborah Kornavakia this morning on what's so critically important in terms of providing opportunities. In the area of labor, in the area of jobs, no one has done more for our participants than this next gentleman. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I've known his parents for many, many years, and it's personally disconcerting when the commissioner is the son of friends. You know you're getting old. But Rob's leadership, if I may, has not only been in navigating the complexities of bureaucracy, but making apprenticeship training real. And so for our guys and gals, when you look at Jesse coming home after 35 years, it's not about connecting somebody to a warehouse. It's connecting somebody to what they call PACE, pre-apprenticeship training programs. And so what's really resonates, I think long after the commissioner has made his mark in New Jersey, is that he has established apprenticeship training that represents the best, I would argue, in this nation. For so long, for so many of us, college was the only gateway, and there was manufacturing. And as manufacturing began to recede, there was a space, there was an opportunity that required skilled training. Rob's leadership, the commissioner's leadership, filled that void. And so I'm proud to recognize, not only in terms of the state of New Jersey, but I would argue nationally, our commissioner has established a benchmark of excellence of understanding who needs this apprenticeship training, how this apprenticeship training can be delivered, and to ensure that it meets the best benchmarks of standards so that people are in a pipeline towards career opportunities. That doesn't happen by accident. It's about rolling up your sleeves, getting in the mud, connecting employers to skills, to individuals who don't have those skills, but who are capable of having and learning and developing those skills. So besides that, I have 3 grant applications before him, so that's not, no. I can't believe I just said that. But to somebody who's a champion, our labor commissioner, Robert Asaro Angelo.
Thanks, guys. Thank you, Governor. Got to wear the colors here. You're not enemy territory. First of all, thank you for that introduction. I really appreciate you recognizing that, because it does take hard work. It does not happen by accident. And during this pandemic, I've been talking a lot about how we have to sort of change how we do things, like everybody has. And after the last huge meltdown and the economic collapse happened a little over a decade ago, when the unemployment rate was about where it is now, there's such, it was also crazy then over a longer period of time, but people were desperate. And people who serve people who were desperate to get them work. And we're so happy to get them a job, just a job. It didn't matter, nothing else mattered. And I'm hoping that what we've learned from this last time is that while yes, a job and a paycheck are good, that a career is much better. And that's why we're so focused on apprenticeship, even now during the pandemic, that we're re-upping, we're getting back out in the economy, getting folks back to work, that we're making sure they are in a job that is stable, that provides family sustaining benefits, that provides a pathway. We've seen our work during this pandemic, before COVID hit, like the governor said, we're very proud of our work on apprenticeship and everything else that we've done. But that work has become more important to these workers when they're not working, because those are the ones that have fared better during this time. Workers who have a W-2 job or had much easier time getting unemployment. Workers who have a career path, who have a connection to their employer, are much better off getting back into the workforce now and going forward. So all that work that we did for workers when they're working is almost equally as important for when they're not working at times like now. So thank you, Governor, for having me here today. Thanks, Sam. I was actually I went to your old spot. That's why I was a little bit late. So congratulations on your new space. It's way bigger than the little desk I saw over there last time I was here. So congrats on that. I know what it takes to get that kind of stuff done. So, like most of you, we've been very focused on COVID-19, the single biggest economic blow in our state's history, our country's history. It's been 7 months and 1 day from when our businesses were first sidelined, leading to a historic avalanche of workers seeking vital, family-sustaining economic benefits. The first week of April 2020 saw 215,000 unemployment claims in 1 week come into an office. That is a 2,700% higher than the same time a year before. Same in technology, I've heard this term called black swan. There was a black swan moment. There's nothing we could have done. No technology could have taken in that kind of increase in load. And we've done everything we can to make sure that we are fighting that backlog, that we are serving every claimant we can. But just that overwhelming mass coming in at one time just shows the dire straits so many workers in New Jersey were in. Since then, our department has paid out $16.5 billion with a B to 1.44 million claimants in New Jersey. I don't think just supporting those families and their neighborhoods. I really think that this has kept our whole state's economy afloat. $16.5 billion is no joke. And I'm really proud of the workers across the state of New Jersey who've been helping people get their benefits. This is not a situation any state could have been prepared for. The struggles that many workers face navigating needlessly convoluted federal unemployment systems are not unique to the Garden State. A report recently published by New America uncovered how the system was designed in the 30s to specifically deny benefits to workers of color and low-wage workers. It said, quote, while the onslaught of the pandemic has unveiled many of the faces within our current workforce, especially those who serve in low-wage, essential gig, temporary, and seasonal jobs, typically not covered under UI, the crisis has also painfully exposed the deeply rooted inequity and racial disparities within our workforce system. I remain hopeful that these challenges shine a spotlight on the fact that even with the CARES Act additions, the federal unemployment system wasn't designed for everyone who was unemployed, only those who meet a very specific, stringent, and in some cases arbitrary set of eligibility criteria. And these obstacles aren't unique to the unemployment system. We all know too well that many government systems leave way too many behind. We as a state and a nation are currently at a crossroads how we approach these challenges that lie ahead for our workers. In the uncertain environment that is to come, we need to make sure that every single New Jerseyan looking to enter or re-enter our workforce gets a fair shake. While New Jersey should be proud that it has secured the right to vote for those presently on parole or probation, finding sustainable work, getting an education and training for that work, and maintaining employment over the long term remains a challenge, especially in our new COVID reality. As some jobs will likely remain remote, we know that a lack of access to technology may impede certain career paths and training opportunities. We know the available public transportation has ebbed and flowed over the past few months, so we have to consider how this also may impact getting a job or a job interview in the face of a second or third wave of pandemic. We know that competitions for the low-income jobs, that simply did not exist a year ago, the permanent closing of many restaurants and small businesses. Again, as I've said before, before the pandemic, it still remains true today. It will take all hands on deck. So while we are fortunate to have everyone coming together in this room today, the work that you all do every day, but not coming together too close, please, to spotlight the second chances to every potential member of the Garden State's workforce. So the work that Sam's doing, any piece of the puzzle that will help somebody get a leg up, to get back into work, to find that job when they can't physically get there. All these things that we're putting into the hands of folks who need it is so important, is a huge partner to everything that we're doing. So we know that a job isn't simply a job. It's about dignity. It's about vitality. It's about value and self-worth. The fact remains that our nation is still currently in the middle of a pandemic that is showing no signs of dwindling in the near future. So we're proud to be doing our part to bring more virtual and telephone assistance in the coming months as we look forward to safe reopening of our one-stop career centers. We've now served over 230,000 customers through virtual means on the workforce side, not to mention the 1.4 million payments on the unemployment side. So the conversations we're having today about where we live in this new reality and how we're going to serve those same customers as we always have and serve them better are crucially important. So thank you for having me here today, Governor McGreevey. Thank you to all the partners. And yes, you're right. You are old, because I feel old. Whenever you mention my parents, I'm like, I'm too old to be hearing that. But I do appreciate that, because I do feel very strongly that the leadership of this governor, that we are leading the way nationwide on how to deal with some of these problems. So thank you for being here today. And thank you to all our partners for hosting us. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And again, I just wanted to underscore that it's been the Commissioner's leadership that ensured, whether it's HDL, whether it's diesel mechanics, whether it's a driver's license, a diesel mechanic, an HVAC, or whatever the level of training, that the Department of Labor and Workforce Development has been there and made a substantial commitment to returning persons. So again, we're all very much indebted. We had hoped that Senator Robert Menendez, our dear friend and champion, would have been here, but representing Senator Menendez, I'd like to call upon Wendy Martinez.
The senator definitely apologizes for not being here, but I think we can all agree that these are very interesting times in Washington, D.C. Dear members of New Jersey Reentry Corporation and 1Huddle, please accept my warmest wishes as you all gather to celebrate the partnership between 1Huddle and the New Jersey Reentry Corporation as they launch an innovative mobile app. It is truly an honor to have been invited to such a special celebration. It is my pleasure to see the collaboration of these two organizations coming together to better serve the reentry community and ensure easy access to treatment programs, job placement, and legal services. Navigating the first few months of reentry, can be extremely overwhelming, which is why providing these citizens with the resources they need right in the palm of their hands is so critically important. With 1Huddle as the motor behind this operation, this app can impact the lives of thousands in the state of New Jersey. Because of efforts led by Governor Jim McGreevey, Reverend Bolivar Flores, and the entire Reentry Corporation team, New Jersey is on a path to becoming a national model for reentry services. As your senior United States Senator, I am truly honored to have been invited to participate in this celebration. I would like to extend my gratitude to all of you here today for your hard work and look forward to continuing the fight for expanding access to reentry services. Please accept my best wishes as you continue to build a successful future. God bless you all, and God bless the great state of New Jersey. Sincerely, United States Senator Bob Menendez.
So, and we're very much honored. We're all looking forward to the Senator, but obviously 'tis the season. And I'm just very grateful. And Wendy knows the story. Senator Menendez was my mother's favorite elected official. And I'll tell the story, Rob, that when we were opening our first center in Jersey City, I was sitting next to Governor Christie, and somebody introduced Senator Menendez, and somebody started clapping. And Governor Christie looked at me and goes, "Oh, Jim, Hudson County." He said, all they did is introduce him. I said, "Chris, that was my mother." But anyway, so I am just very much grateful. What I'd like to do, and we're blessed to obviously when the first 45 days of people coming home is a period of a difficult challenge, when people are wrestling with food, people are wrestling with shelter, with medical, with ID. And this is a time of significant transition, and that's why this app will be so critically important, not only linking people to physical reentry sites, but to the benefits necessary. And again, I can't be more grateful enough to the governor's office and Commissioner Carol Johnson, to the commissioner. They are our partners in trying to make reentry as successful as possible. But before I call upon the sheriff, I'd like to call upon our medical director, Dr. Akash Shah, because some of the challenges when we look to reentry is addiction and medication-assisted treatment. Also, the medical realities of HIV, AIDS, and diabetes, and also mental health. And so again, it's my great pleasure to introduce somebody, Akash, sheriff, fancy, went to Harvard Medical School in Oxford. His SAT scores had to be 300 points over McGreevy's. but he's somebody who works in the vineyard and somebody who links our clients. Our goal is to make sure that every single one of our participants have the best medical care, whether it's addiction treatment, whether it's medical, or whether it's mental health, and to talk about the importance of this app linking people to medical services, our medical director, Akash Shah. Doctor?
I appreciate the kind introduction, and I thank 1Huddle. I thank our team at New Jersey Reentry Corps. I thank all of you for making the time today, and of course, I thank our leaders in the Commissioner's office, in the front office, and the like. You know, as Governor McGreevey alluded to, I'm a physician by training, and specifically, I'm an emergency room doctor by training, and I still remember treating one of my patients who was in reentry. He had come in with a severe asthma attack, so severe that he could only speak in 1- and 2-word sentences. And so I worked with the nurse in order to get him an IV and get him the breathing treatments he needed. And I kept checking in on him every couple minutes. And in due time, his lungs started to open up. He began to speak in longer and longer sentences. And as he began to feel more and more comfortable, I pulled up a chair to see how he was doing. And he said, "Doc, thank you. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better." And as he continued to get better and better, I learned a bit more about his story. He told me that he had recently been released from prison, but his asthma just kept flaring up. It probably had something to do with the fact that he couldn't find stable housing. And he told me, "You know, Doc, it's hard. It's really hard." As we continued speaking, he said, "You know, I can't get my asthma under control because I don't have a job and insurance and the ability to buy the medications I need, but I also can't get a job because my asthma isn't under control, and so I'm stuck in this vicious cycle." And that was really it for that day. But what I took away in that moment was just how hard it is to do this on your own. And quite candidly, after speaking with him and so many others of our clients at NJRC, I came to realize that very few can do it on their own. To be quite candid, I certainly, despite all the fancy degrees that the governor alluded to, I certainly wouldn't be able to do it on my own. And so I don't think it's fair to expect others to. And to me, especially as we come to a time when we'll be releasing individuals from incarceration by not just the hundreds, but the thousands, it's a reminder that we can't simply release folks from something, but we must release them to something. And to me, I think what 1Huddle is making possible, what New Jersey Reentry Corps is making possible, what the Commissioner is making possible, what we are making possible in collaboration here today is exactly that, giving individuals like my patient that day something to not simply be released from, but something to be released to, and to not have to navigate all of that on one's own. So I couldn't be more grateful for us coming together in that manner. And I know it's going to make an incredible difference to our patients and to our clients at New Jersey Reentry Corps.
Thank you. And again, I just wanted to underscore our gratitude. I can't say enough appreciation for Senator Sandra Bolden Cunningham and the Senate President, Senator Ruiz, the Speaker, the Chairwoman of the Appropriation Committee, our dear friend Ileana, Ivan Lopez, and so many others. What you heard when the Commissioner spoke is the perspective of moving forward opportunities for reentry. And part of that is also working with the law enforcement community. We're very blessed throughout the state of New Jersey to have individuals that are committed to working in partnership. I'm personally to change the paradigm that law enforcement, whether it's the prosecutor's office, whether it's the sheriff's office, whether local police departments work with reentry. And we have Jenny Pena from our Hackensack office, but nobody knows the importance of reentry better than our next speaker, Sheriff Anthony Curtin. Sheriff.
Good afternoon. It's nothing better than coming together to find ways of improving the life of those who need that little extra assistance. I came from law enforcement. I did 25 years. And as you can imagine, I helped to incarcerate folks. During that time, I became a social justice activist. And thereafter, I became an inmate advocate of myself in the Bergen County Jail. So to go to those different levels and realize now I realize the importance of that whole reentry process, because I've seen it at 3 different levels. And having the opportunity to meet with the governor and the New Jersey Reentry Corp and having the opportunity to learn more about Huddle, I think this is like, we've met the pinnacle. And I think the services that can be provided can only make things better for us. In Bergen County, they tell me I spend too much time in jail, but I find that time in jail was like the most instrumental part of my life and my growth as far as giving back. And to learn the needs and direct individuals to those needs to make their lives better was one of the most self-fulfilling things that I've been involved with in my life. So I volunteer myself. Of course, we volunteer the Bergen County Sheriff's Office because that was one of our priorities. Reentry, dealing with drug addiction, in which we started a program called Path Forward that did the outreach to those who may have been suffering from heroin addiction and bringing them back in and affording them opportunities such as the resources that are being provided by 1Huddle and of course the Jersey Reentry Corp. So again, I just want to say thank you. Governor, you've been doing a great job longer than I've known you. Please continue the success, and of course the resources are here in Bergen County to help you out.
Thank you. Thank you. And then I'm just going to ask our Newark Site Director, Sharon Crawford, to read a letter from Senator Booker, and then we'll just going to conclude with one last testimony.
Good morning. On behalf of United States Senator Cory Booker. Dear friends, it is a pleasure to extend my greetings as you gather to launch this innovative new mobile application. My heartfelt congratulations to the New Jersey Reentry Corporation and 1Huddle, both of which have closely worked together through this strategic partnership to better serve our reentering population. I'm especially thankful to Governor Jim McGreevey and Reverend Boulevard Flores for their work in this space. Since its founding, the New Jersey Reentry Corporation has been the leading advocate for the formerly incarcerated and has provided direct services to increase their successful reintegration and overall preparedness. By embarking on this joint venture, NJRC and 1Huddle have helped expand accessibility to critical job readiness training programs for New Jersey Reentry Corporation members, while also keeping them safe during this current pandemic. New Jersey is on its way to becoming a national model in reentry services because of the work led by former Governor Jim McGreevey, Reverend Boulevard Flores, and the Reentry Corporation team. Your incredible efforts serve as an inspiration for all. Again, congratulations on all that you've accomplished on behalf of New Jersey's reentering population, and please accept my utmost gratitude for all you do to help those in need. Through your work to uplift your fellow Americans, you embody the ideal that our highest calling is in service to each other. Sincerely, Cory A. Booker, United States Senator.
Thank you. And I would just like to ask the members of our team, Dawn and Jada and everybody from Reentry to come up here. Come on, Todd. Reverend. But again, these are the individuals who do the hard work every day. And I just want to say thank you, including Mara, who's taking the photographs. Now I'd just like to call upon Wally to say a few words, and then we're going to conclude with a note of gratitude to Sam. Wally?
Good morning. My name is Wally Lee. Just came home January after serving 34 years in prison. And coming home, like Mr. Jesse, I came home to nothing. No parents, no house to live. But during my time in the halfway house, I got a chance to meet these unique people behind me. And they basically gave me a chance. And we know this is the land of second chances. and I'm out here to get my second chance. Don't nobody owe me nothing, but I'm just trying to show you all that I want my second chance. And I'm going to do it the legal way. Thank the governor here. I got a chance to meet him when he was a mayor. Very good man, always been a good man and trying to help people. And that's all I can say. I mean, some people think some don't deserve a second chance. Who am I to say that? I'm just asking for my second chance. And I appreciate this arena right here and this platform just to tell my story briefly, because you all have the knowledge of where we came from. We just the ones that have to tell you about it.
And how many years were you behind the wall?
I was behind the wall for 34 years.
34 years. So a lot of things has changed, right?
A lot of things has changed. I actually got lost in my own city when I came home. And I was like, wow, it's definitely a change, especially when you're coming home to nothing.
So technology has changed.
Technology has changed. I'm still trying to learn the phone. I get in arguments with people because they think I just supposed to know how to do this stuff. I'm like, oh, man.
Now you know how I feel.
Yeah, yeah. But once again, I appreciate being here, and I can never thank these people behind me enough. I mean, they still holding my hand. They want to let it go, but I'm not letting them let it go. Nah, not right now. I gotta get to that level, then you can let it go.
Amen.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
So this is like a phenomenal team, and I'm just so grateful, and I'm grateful for Rob, for our commissioner. I'm grateful for the sheriff. I'm grateful for David Wolfsgruber. We have a phenomenal partnership with the New Jersey State Parole Board, and I can't sing their praises enough. And Chairman Sam Plummerai, I'm really grateful to them and for their work and their partnership. But I just wanted to underscore today that 1Huddle has given us this app, given us this technology. So at the end of the day, Wally and Jesse's lives are measurably improved. And that's ultimately what we believe and what we're about is service. For those of us who read scripture, there's that great quote from, should ask Rev, Catholics aren't too good with the Bible, which says the Son of Man comes not to be served, but to serve. Is that Matthew or Mark? Matthew, all right. I know it started with an M. But so it's what we do in service that makes the difference. And I just want the world to know that Sam and 1Huddle are donating their time and this app to New Jersey Reentry. That doesn't happen every day. So again, from all of us, for all the thousands of people who will use this app for job training, for SNAP, for general assistance, to connect to New Jersey Reentry, this is a gift of immeasurable proportions. And when I look at Jesse and I look at Wally and I see their eyes and their hopes and their aspirations, I know I believe in a God of second chances. But to have someone, whether it's our commissioner or governor or Senate president or a speaker, but in this case, Sam from the private sector and Brian and the entire 1Huddle team, give of your time, your intellectual ability to help us serve those who need it most. We just want to say thank you. So again, to Sam and to the entire 1Huddle team, thank you. So with that, for the concluding prayer, because we start with prayer and we end with prayer, Reverend Bolivar Flores. Rev?
Good morning, everyone. When you work with Jim McGreevey, you have to be prepared. I don't know, I have to do the conclusion prayer, but we have to be prepared. So let's express our gratitude to the Lord. Lord, thank you. Thank you for you continue take care of your child. Our brothers and sisters who return from prison. Lord, thank you for the wisdom that you give you to the entire team from 1Huddle to putting together this app for provide easy access for our brothers and sisters. Continue to bless the entire team for the New Jersey Reentry Corporation for we can continue doing our mission to help people who return from prison. In the name of Jesus, we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you, everybody. And thanks to 1Huddle. There's a half a box of Dunkin' Donuts coffee left. And please drink everything you can, and what's not moving, never mind. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sam.